Story 1. It will come and go in different waves. Allow yourself to experience the grief, but remember that those versions of each of you no longer exist. Appreciate the memories, but they are just that. Memories. Use what you have learned to create the future you want. Do not let the past hold you back and take it one step at a time. Story 2. There is no real shortcut aside from things that will temporarily help. If you want to effectively get over them, unfortunately you have to give it time. Story 3. I have had 2 heartbreaking breakups in my life. This is what has worked for me. 1. Out of sight, out of mind mentality. Block them on everything, delete all your photos, delete their number, and even block it. Keep yourself busy. Spending time with friends and family means less time alone to think about this person. Going on long walks or picking up a new hobby works too. Just don't let yourself sit in silence and dwell. Make a real effort to fill your time. Ask your friends and family not to talk to you about this person until you bring them up. This helps avoid conversations you are not ready for. Story 4. Step 1. Block them everywhere. Step 2. Exercise regularly as if training for revenge. Step 3. Improve yourself so much they question all their life choices. Bonus step. Laugh at memes instead of their messages. Story 5. Cut off all communication and online presence. Go to the gym. Read. Find a hobby or sport and master it. Focus on yourself. Story 6. You can make yourself emotionally resilient. I advocate for everyone to live on their own, literally by yourself, for at least a year if you can. By the end of that year, you will know how to feed yourself, dress yourself, care for your belongings, and learn the most important thing of all: how to entertain yourself and keep yourself happy and content. That should not be someone else's job. The quicker you figure out what makes you tick and build a lifestyle that fulfills you without anyone else, the sooner you will gain the tools to recover from a breakup more rapidly and effectively. When you are your own backup plan, and that backup is fulfilling, you become resilient. Story 7. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Every time you think of that person, force yourself to think of something completely different that interests you, such as ancient Egypt, Harry Potter, or Game of Thrones. Name people, places, characters, and scenes. Keep doing this, and in a couple of months, it will become second nature. Story 8. As someone who had to deal with a very difficult breakup after nearly 8 years, you do not, maybe never, honestly. There will always be scars that resurface in dreams or nightmares, or maybe a smell, a piece of media, a song, or something that will remind you. Even though I have moved on from her at this point, I still feel a pang of pain when that happens. I tried for the longest time to fight it, but even now, for years later, I still feel it sometimes. I have decided to allow myself 30 seconds to feel it and acknowledge it, and then I continue about my day. Getting rid of things that remind you of them, pictures, mementos, and so on, will help. I would get rid of just about anything that triggers you. If it is really important, put it in a box and store it away somewhere, but honestly, getting rid of stuff such as pictures and letters is best for the healing process. This is essentially grieving. You are grieving. You grew a garden with someone, and it has been set ablaze and turned to ash. But now you have a chance to grow something new with soil that is even more fertile than before. Story 9. The fastest way for me was to go on dates and meet new people. I did not sleep with them, but I did make out. I also went on trips with friends to forget about life for a moment. In my free time, I took local classes and spent time on new hobbies. I learned how to sew, how to throw clay, how to screen print t-shirts, and how to make stickers. Story 10. Dislike how you feel and transfer that feeling to them for causing it. Do the work if there are any lessons to learn from the relationship. Story 11. I hesitate to say it because sometimes it can complicate things further, but meeting someone new can help more than anything else. Story 12. You have to keep perspective. Just try to remember that life has no inherent meaning or value, and that everything you do is ultimately without purpose. There is no overarching narrative that you are supposed to be following, and you are not meant to be with anyone. Story 13. Self-improvement. Most people will say time, but it is what you do with that time that matters. That is why some people are still pining over an ex decades later. Story 14. Out of sight, out of mind helps. Put away everything that reminds you of them where you cannot see it without deliberately looking for it. Block them on all platforms so they do not unexpectedly show up on your social media. Pursue your hobbies, other friendships, and your job. You will have to grieve and cry, but taking breaks away from the grief really helps. Story 15. Nothing, just think that it is what it is. We cannot force people. Just get your mind into a hobby or something. Story 16. Find a new hobby that has nothing to do with them. Get a new piercing, get a new tattoo, get a cat, and make an angry playlist. It worked for me. Story 17. Keep yourself busy. Silent or alone times are when thoughts creep in. Try to maintain a busy schedule for a few weeks. Story 18. The fastest way is to block them and remove them from your life. Process the relationship in therapy, exercise regularly, and engage socially by surrounding yourself with people who help you feel less lonely. Story 19. Getting over a relationship takes time, but healing starts with accepting that it is truly over and giving yourself space. This often means limiting contact and avoiding social media stalking. Let yourself feel the pain instead of suppressing it. Begin to reconnect with yourself, rediscover old passions, focus on personal growth, and rebuild the identity that may have been blurred during the relationship. Go to the gym, spend time with friends and family, join a sports league such as softball or kickball, attend concerts, and fill your time with activities that keep your mind active. Time heals all wounds. Story 20. It depends on the determination you have. Delete the photographed memories, then try finding a new hobby and some extra work to keep you occupied enough so that you do not think about her. I am sharing what I understand. This might be applicable. Story 21. Well, I broke up with my ex 2 weeks ago. I met a girl a week later. No dating apps or anything, I just lived my life. And it is all going quite well. I barely think about my ex anymore. It was not a very good match anyway. I am a rather reasonable person when it comes to relationships. Story 22. Reminded of a Frasier episode. My mother always said the fastest way to get over someone is to get under someone. Sherry. Story 23. Work on yourself and enjoy your hobbies and friends. Focus on being you and doing whatever you want for a while in a healthy way. Do not be selfish, but if you want to go fishing, go fishing. If you want to see a movie, see exactly what you want. If you want Mexican food, go do it. Enjoy not having to worry about someone else you are with every day and what they want. This is a good thing, but it is nice for a bit to just focus on yourself during your free time. Also, for the love of God, do not get into another relationship immediately. I am sure everyone heals differently, but this is my advice. Story 24. It's easy to forget or make excuses for the bad times. So I made a list of negative things about her and read it when I felt weak. It definitely helped. Story 25. In my experience, there is no real way to get over someone quickly. You just have to continue with your life, and over time you will find that a world still exists for you without that person. It will not feel like it at first, but it will happen. Story 26. Reflect on all the foolish things they did or said when you were together, which you were able to overlook because you were in the honeymoon phase. Sit with those thoughts and remember that they are not the person you believe them to be. Story 27. Distract yourself with a new hobby. Work out. Binge watch all the Marvel movies. Bungee jump or paradive. Story 28. First, you need to remove them from your life. Cut off all contact and get rid of everything that reminds you of them. Then start going to the gym. It is cliché, but it helps keep your mind busy, and you will gain more confidence as you transform your body. Exercise is good for both the mind and body. Stay busy by finding hobbies and spending more time with family and friends. Continue on this path for as long as it takes. Story 29. First, remove him from your life as much as possible. It is easier to do if you have a clean separation. Block him. Pick up a new hobby or return to an old one, especially if it is something you did not have time for while attending to your partner. Extra points if it is something he disapproved of. Dress up and go out with your friends. Cook yourself the dinner he did not really like. Story 30. I'm not claiming that this is necessarily a good or healthy way to proceed, but it is certainly efficient. Get rid of anything directly linked to them. Photos, videos, letters, notes, gifts if they are especially personal, contact information, and so on. Proceed as though that person never existed in your life. This step can be destructive if staying friends is a priority for you. Take on a new hobby to occupy your time and mind, preferably something that puts you around other people so you can escape your own head a bit. This is probably the healthiest option on its own. Live your life. Results may vary. Story 31. Mushrooms, but after the initial separation pains subside. Psychedelics should be taken in a healthy environment under low-stress mental states. Some people need to elevate or alter their normal state of consciousness to accept loss and change. Story 32. For moments that are overwhelming and you cannot focus on anything else, experiencing a gut-wrenching feeling, running can help. If you go outside and run until your heart is racing, the fight or flight response takes over and you stop thinking about the heartache. Instead, you focus on breathing and the physical effort. Story 33. The best thing I have learned to do is to allow yourself to feel the grief completely. You need to experience the full range of emotions rather than bottle them up and try to ignore them. Eventually, your mind and body will get tired of feeling that way, and you will start to recover and feel better. You will not miss them as much, and when you find out they have moved on or have a new partner, it will no longer sting. You can then actively start looking for someone to be with a much healthier mindset. At least that is what worked for me, and it took me more than 5 to 6 years to figure it out. Story 34. Entering a coma? There is no fast way to get over someone. It is like riding an escalator for 1,000 miles. All you can do is try to distract yourself. Story 35 time. And for the love of God, do not look through their social media accounts. You are only prolonging the pain. Story 36. Get to the gym, visit museums, art galleries, concerts, movies, and ice cream parlors. Learn to love yourself independently. Story 37. Only time. Genuinely, there is no other method, and you need to allow yourself to feel bad for a bit and not escape from it. Sucks, but time really does heal. Story 38. There is no magic fix, but keeping busy, cutting contact, and focusing on yourself really helps. It is difficult at first, but time and distractions make it easier. Story 39 depends on their height, but I would say jump really high. Good luck getting over them. Original poster. And do not forget to stretch. Story 40. Depends. I know someone who I no longer want to be friends with. I really never considered her a friend. It would be easy because she is toxic, so it definitely would not be hard. I ignore her. Story 41. Go back to a time before you knew them. I mean, connect with people from back then that you have lost touch with, not actual time travel or anything. Story 42. Don't listen to sad songs. Grieve about it for a little bit, then move on. When you start thinking about it, do something to occupy yourself. Go out, do gardening, jump out of a plane, buy a surfboard, or hang out with friends. Story 43. There is no fastest way. There is only your way, and nobody can tell you how or when. Took me more than 9 years to be able to say I am done with you. Story 44. Time and distance are significant factors, but emotional regulation is important too. People often advise taking them off the pedestal or remembering their flaws. While there is some merit to that, it is difficult when you still have strong, visceral feelings for them. In my opinion, the best way to make the most of the time and space you have from them is to process your emotions. Sit in the discomfort and feel the grief. It is not pleasant, but it is necessary and happens for a reason. However, regulate it. Do not dwell or become overwhelmed by it. Go to work. Immerse yourself in hobbies, talk to people, and spend time with friends. There is no single correct way to handle it and move on from someone, but developing good habits can make the process smoother. It really gets a little better every day. It may take weeks or months. It is never easy, but eventually, a day will come when you think, oh, I'm okay. Practicing self-love helps, and therapy is a great way to support that if it is something you struggle with. Story 45. Accept that you cannot force anything. Nobody can decide who they want to love or not to love. That is chemical. Story 46. For me, it helped to separate my feelings for her from the desire to be loved, wanted, and respected. I found that it was easier to move on from her if she was not the object of those desires. I realized that it might be detrimental in some ways, but for me, it worked. Story 47. It depends on how low they are to the ground. If they are on the ground, just run over them. Any higher may require jumping. Story 48. There is no fast way. If you truly like someone, they will never leave your heart or your mind, even if you never see them again. Story 49. Do not do anything else. Give the proper time and effort to grief. Allow yourself to feel fully, cry, break things, scream, and let it all out. Eventually, you will feel it has less of a grip on you. Do not distract yourself or run from your feelings, because even your pain is trying to teach you something your better self will thank you for. Story 50. I tried dating different people, drugs, and alcohol because I couldn't enjoy anything I used to like. I could not enjoy video games or movies, and I was not interested in any person I came across. I even started hating women. Barbecues with friends and camping helped me stop thinking. But overall, I believe occupying your mind is best while time passes and memories fade. Story 51. Make a pros and cons list. When you fall out of love with a person, you tend to realize many things about them that you have most likely brushed off or overlooked. Seeing someone without rose-colored glasses helps people see the whole picture. Story 52. Did you cheat on this person and just want to get rid of your conscience? Or is it the latter? I was just cheated on after 8 years and 2 children, and your question made me sad. Story 53. Focus on yourself after a breakup. Start focusing on yourself. Most people change their appearance to cope and end up looking better. Take care of yourself by setting goals and keeping yourself and your surroundings clean. This will not only make you feel better about yourself, but also increase happy hormones. Clean space equals a clean mind. Story 54. Take some time for yourself, then start dating new people. That is the best way to get over someone, by falling for someone new and exciting. Story 55. REO Speedwagon. I caught my daughter sneak listening to our old stereo with the vinyl. I said, "What are you doing? You cannot listen to rock quietly. Turn it up. And whenever you have a heartache, listen to REO Speedwagon." And she did. The end. Story 56. There is no fast way. You get over them when you get over them. One thing that slows or stops the healing process is calling or texting your ex. Block them everywhere. Every time you text or call them after the breakup, you are reopening the wound. There is nothing wrong with being friends with them after you have healed. I am good friends with an ex and her husband, but you have to heal first. Story 57. Stop checking their social media. Delete them from everything if you have to. The constant updates about their life just keep the wound fresh. You cannot move on when you are still watching their story every day pretending you do not care. Also, keep yourself busy with activities that actually make you feel good about yourself. New hobbies, hanging out with friends, whatever. Sitting around overthinking just makes it worse. Story 58. Delete their number, block them everywhere, and pretend you never knew their Netflix password. Trust me, healing starts when your binge sessions stop buffering on their favorites. Story 59. 3 months of heavy alcohol abuse, various other substances, and lots of McDonald's, including biting your fingers when eating the fries. Story 60. The problem is that when you want time to pass quickly, it goes very slowly. Days feel like weeks. Try deleting all the pictures of them or putting them in a locked folder that does not appear at the top. Story 61. Studies show that directing feelings toward a new person makes the feelings for the previous person fade. Rebounds do technically help, but whether that is moral and ethical remains a question. Story 62. Play it out in The Sims. Give yourself your dream person and move on in the game. It will reflect back on your life or, at the very least, make you feel better. Story 63. The gym makes the time pass and gives you something else to focus on. Only later do you realize the thing you focus on is actually yourself. That is what you need. Focus on yourself. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.